Hello, vloggy vlogsters from Budapest. We have literally just arrived. So here's our hotel room before we, you know, mess it up with all of our stuff. It was a marginal, I think ordeal's a bit of an exaggeration. Getting here was not as simple as we thought. Flight was all fine. Flight was delayed by only about half an hour. Then passport control at Budapest airport was horrendous. We were there for like an hour and a half, which meant that our shuttle had gone when we came out of the airport. There was a guy there who didn't speak any English, which is fair enough. He's Hungarian. I don't speak any Hungarian. But instead of, you know, trying to do symbols or, you know, hand gestures, just spoke to us really, really quickly in Hungarian a lot. Couldn't really understand what was going on. Managed to get hold of somebody on the phone and basically just had to wait for a good hour, I think, until he would agree to take us because his next person hadn't shown up. I imagine because she was also stuck in passport control. We then were sat in the car waiting because he said he'd go in 5 minutes, and then 6 people also turned up to try and get in the sort of 5-seater car as well. So we eventually abandoned them. Guessing somebody else is going to go back for them. Drove through Budapest and we're now at our hotel, which seems quite nice. We're staying at the Continental. The entrance is like super impressive, and the rooms, as I expected from when we were booking. Budapest, just looking up, we literally just had a knock on the door, and they've delivered us a bottle of fizz to say happy birthday. I'm pleased with that. What was I saying? Hotel. Oh yeah, like very nice. Little bit like, you know, not as hipster as a place we'd usually stay, but there were, from the options we were looking at, the one place we wanted to stay was fully booked by the time we tried to book, because we did literally book this last week. And then the other couple of places that looked very hipster, very cool, were actually quite out of the way. So we decided to go for kind of location and slightly more traditional, should we say, hotel, over hipsterness and more walking. Right, I'm gonna drink this and chill out, and then we need to get some food because I'm so hungry. Okay, so we haven't eaten since breakfast, which was about 6:30 this morning in the lounge. It's now, what time is it?
4:45.
It's 4:45. We've had 2 glasses of Prosecco. We're heading out into Budapest. Well, you know, this seems very sensible. We're basically around the Jewish quarter now. And apparently there's lots of cool bars and stuff here, so try to find some more alcohol and preferably some food. Morning, it is Sunday, it is our first full day in Budapest. We are going over to the other side of the river. I can't remember whether that's Buda or Pest. I will look it up and check for you. I'm going to walk across the chain bridge. I'm going to go up and see the Citadel and Fisherman's Bastion, and then we're going to go to a museum later on, hopefully. So first though, coffee and breakfast, very much needed. As usual, you can tell all of the British tourists apart from Hungarians, because the Hungarians are wearing scarves and hats and coats, and we're like, it's 17 degrees, it's so warm, t-shirts, shorts. That was an excellent brunch. I have borrowed my husband's hoodie because we were basically in a wind tunnel. Weirdly, we're now back by the river and it's really warm and sunny again. So I had avocado cream, which seems to be some sort of Hungarian version of baba ganoush. I had that on toast, it was amazing. So yeah, we're going to walk across the bridge now up to the Citadel, then I think we're going to walk up the Danube to Fisherman's Bastion and back across the museum, if we manage to fit all of that in one day. I'm being directed by my husband just by shoulder barging. Dan has just pointed out I didn't have avocado cream, obviously because I'm allergic to avocados. I had eggplant cream, which is why it was like baba ganoush. Okay, so I think this is right. Budapest. I'm not just stopping because I need to get my breath back. We're so unfit. It's a big hill. Neither of us are cold now. It's an amazing view. So tour guide Daniel has just looked at some history of the Citadel. It was finished in 1854. It used to have 60 cannons. I'd say from the state of that wall, it has seen some action. Any other fun facts, tour guide Daniel? He's just shrugging. So he has now informed me that it was occupied by the Russians, by Soviet troops in 1956, and they fired down into the city. So there you go. Definitely worth a walk up to, I think. It's a big hill though. Downhill walking! My favourite. We are going to go up into the hill though, so we're now going to walk up the Danube to Fisherman's Bastion. If we're lucky, maybe tour guide Dan will give us some more fun facts when we get there. Here we go, big hill number 2. So beautiful. So beautiful up here. I can see why it's an Insta hotspot, and full props to all the Instagrammers who get here super early in the morning to get those photos with no one else in them. It's really busy. So everyone talks about the like Disney castle bit, but for me it's the colours in the roof of, I think this is St. Matthias. They're absolutely stunning. Much quieter up here, really pretty, really chill, very different feeling to like down in main pest side of the city, which definitely feels a lot sort of grittier, a bit more urban. A bit of cafe culture. Right, I think that's all our hills for the day, hopefully for the holiday. And we're now going to walk back across the train bridge, go and see the Shoes on the Danube, like tribute installation, and we're going to head to the House of Terror, which is a museum that has not so good times in Budapest, so I'm probably not going to vlog that. Fun fact. Chain Bridge was the first bridge linking Buda and Pest. Before that, the cities weren't linked, and it didn't happen until like 1840s, I think. And we're back into busy old Pest. street food ruin bar. Street food, beef and dumplings.
Good.
Actually feeling pretty good about it. So, following our hipster birthday breakfast, we bought some cake back to the hotel room. So I'm sitting in bed eating cake. Can't really think of a better birthday activity than that. I think the next plan is that we're going to go and try and see if we can get into the hotel spa, because we do have access to the spa with our like room package thing. It looks quite nice. A chill one really after all the walking around yesterday. Had such a lovely day. Budapest is gorgeous. There's loads to see, loads of really like scenic things to do. I am very glad we had good weather, because it was a lot of sort of walking around and kind of looking at beautiful things and lovely architecture. So I'm not quite sure what it would be like in the rain. I don't know, but it was really cool. And then last night's kind of trip to the little caravan street food market, which really reminded me of like a mini version of Digbeth Dining Club, like in Birmingham. Basically what Digbeth Dining Club was like before it got massive. I don't know if it's set up by a brewery or something, like it had a slightly polished feel to it. But we had we went for traditional Hungarian food. So we went to the goulash station and had some beef stew with potato dumplings, and then we had, I don't know what it's called, but it was basically like a kind of donutty sort of flatbread thing with sour cream and cheese on. That was awesome. And the Ruin pub, the only one that we could find that was open on a Sunday night was the really big one, which, oh, I think it's pronounced like Simplekert, maybe? I'm not sure. All the reviews said, look, this is the original, one of the original ones. It's massive, but it's very touristy. And yeah, I don't think there was a single Hungarian person in there, and all the signs were in English, like all the menus and everything. But it was pretty amazing. It's absolutely massive. It's a complete rabbit warren. God knows what the health and safety's like in there, because there's definitely lots of like cracked windows and, you know, like proper ruin type place. But yeah, really good. We managed to find, we were a bit concerned that the beer didn't look very good in there. It was all a bit, you know, like Peroni Hogardeny. But then we did find a little craft beer bar for beer snobs like us. And yeah, it was good. We had Mad Scientist beer, which is Hungarian. I had an excellent rhubarb and strawberry saison. It was really nice. So yeah, we had a couple of drinks in there, a little wander around, explored. And then yeah, just came back and collapsed for sleeps. I think it was only about 11:30, just about, yeah, it was midnight before we went to sleep, because I did go like, yeah, it's my birthday. So we were very tired because we did walk like nearly 30,000 steps yesterday. So yeah, all in all, pretty good birthday weekend so far. And there's still some of it left. What I'm not looking forward to is we have a 6:30 flight tomorrow. So I have a feeling our transfer is going to be like in the middle of the night. And given the complete disorganisation and chaos of both our transfer and Budapest airport on the way in, just makes me, as a nervous flyer, it just makes me a bit stressed. I'm trying not to think about it. We've already had a text from our airline saying that like Budapest airport is particularly congested at the moment. So like try and get there early. And, like, we have no choice, we booked a transfer. So yeah, not thinking about it. Gonna go back to my cake. Okay, we have sparred, we are going for dinner. As suspected, there has already been some airport chaos. Our transfer company, who we had suspected were jokers / clowns, given them just leaving us in a car park before when we got here, are refusing to pick us up any earlier. And in fact, even the original time, when we've looked at it, not really early enough. So gonna have to cancel that, book something through the hotel. It's all fine, it's not gonna ruin our night. But yeah, good job we had that relaxing sparness. This is not the day we made it home. This is actually Wednesday, the next day, because getting up at 2:30, it seems, when you're 35, just utterly destroys you. To be honest, I think it would have utterly destroyed me before 35 as well. But yeah, we made it back. The transfer in a very nice Mercedes with a very nice man, which cost us like less than the Joker's clown transfer. Should we call it the clown car transfer? It wasn't a clown car transfer, because that might even have been a little bit of fun. It was just rubbish. But anyway, yes, it was much better than the people who just refused to take us to the airport. Yeah, this is a long and rambling wind-up, basically, to say thank you for watching my birthday in Budapest. Budapest is a really fantastic city. I would highly recommend visiting. I think there's so many, there just appear to be so many different sides to it, and so many different types of break that you could have. If you wanted like craft beer and food, you could do that. If you wanted like party, ruin pubs and bars, you could do that. If you wanted like opera and culture and museums and architecture, you could do that. Yeah, just fantastic. And a lot of people said to me that it wasn't as cheap as they expected, because quite a lot of the Brum blogger crew have already been to Budapest. I'm behind the times there, and they said like it's not as cheap as I expected it to be, and I think that made it cheaper than we expected it to be, because we were like, oh, it's probably just going to be like normal city prices, and it wasn't. It was you know, comparatively, I think we've probably been to quite a lot of reasonably expensive places like Barcelona, New York, like big tourist cities, and Budapest wasn't like super cheap, but definitely everything was much cheaper than it would have been at home. It's much cheaper than in Birmingham, so maybe things are like about a quarter to a third less than you would expect to be kind of in Birmingham, and maybe then, you know, even cheaper than you would expect in London. So it depends where you're based. But there you go, that's my little roundup. That was my birthday in Budapest. I'm an old wizened crone now at 35. Ha ha ha, women should be allowed to age, etc, etc. So I'm gonna wrap this one up. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next week. Bye.